Everybody, this is Talk Shop Crypto. I'm Kyle.
I'm Ty. Who are you?
Yes, you are Tyler. I'm Nick.
Okay.
And we're here to talk all things crypto. For those who are tuning in on Instagram, we won't be able to read your comments because all phones are tied up, but we will continue on and just hope to see you all afterwards. But Nick, kick us off with some news from this week.
Figured this week we could go back to the basics. See what I did there?
He's so smart.
BAKKT launched their futures trading on, when was it? Monday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Did you guys do anything on that?
No.
Neither did anyone else.
That was very good.
Yeah.
Fairly accurate.
Oh, what was it? A whopping 71 contracts, and each contract is 1 Bitcoin?
Yeah. So about $700 worth. As compared to CME, which is, that's Gemini, right?
What?
CME?
No, that's not Gemini.
Oh, that's not Gemini. Oh, my mistake. Anyways, they their transactions were worth 1.3 billion on their first day, as opposed to BAKKT's 700,000. So
I remember when I first started trading Bitcoin.
Well, I think that goes along with what Su Zhu is talking about. We might have touched on it last episode. That hasn't come out yet. We've been having some audio problems, but we're going to try to iron that out this week. But so Su Zhu, I think we talked about this last episode, stated this in a tweet that he said BAKKT will likely first be a trickle and then a flood. The reality is that most regulated futures contracts get low adoption on day one, simply because no future brokers are ready to clear it. Many people want to wait and see, and tickers are not even populated on risk systems and all that. So basically what it sounds like is the people who want to be in it are kind of sidelined because there's not enough brokers to help them get in. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
I don't know, what do you all think? Because with the CME, when they first opened, it's showing a way different picture, but this is also the first legal and Bitcoin settled futures contract. So I don't know, what do you think? Because the CME is cash settled. So when you do a futures contract with them, and then let's say you complete your contract, you get paid in cash. With BAKKT, you actually get paid in Bitcoin, and it takes 1 or 2 days to get paid in Bitcoin. So what do you think? Does that incentivize institutions, people, brokers, investors to do this, or do you think they're more inclined to do the cash settlement right now?
I think they'd be more inclined to do cash, just off the top of my head.
It's according to, it all matters who it is. What kind of investor, what kind of group you're looking at. If you're looking at a collective of people who are already into crypto, of course they're going to take Bitcoin. Like, that's, something they're into. They obviously, if they can get 1 Bitcoin for doing this or that, they're like, of course I'll take that. But on the other hand, if you're just a company that's in it for the money and don't really care about crypto, but know that they can make money off of the crypto market, they're going to take cash all day. So it's kind of like, it's just...
It goes, I mean, nobody's seen it yet. It's still in my editing window, but I think it goes back to what we were talking about. What value do we see in coins? You're asking me about this. Do you remember that last week? And I was basically like, it just depends on, what you're looking for in a coin. What I'm relating this to, what you're saying with this, is that some people are looking for cash, and there's some people who actually believe that Bitcoin can be the future, and they want to be paid in Bitcoin.
I think it's interesting that you were saying there's not enough brokers to help people kind of get started. And we I think we talked about in the last episode, or one of the previous episodes, how with Bitcoin you want to be your own bank pretty much. Yeah. So it seems like people that want to be involved should be able to do it independently on their own.
Would you want to be paid in Bitcoin? I know these people are being paid out in Bitcoin, but would you take your salary in Bitcoin?
I would.
Tyler?
Not right now, no, because I'm where I'm at in life. It's like, I could probably...
But why? Because there's a lot of people that are like you that wouldn't be paid out in Bitcoin, but I just want to hear the reason.
Well, obviously I'm invested in Bitcoin and have, money in the market, but where I would be prone to do that, because right now I could immediately pull out, pay off debts, and then let's say if I had enough to where I could just pay off debts right now, if I was paid out of this kind of system, I take the cash, pay off the debt, and then for any future transaction, all right, Bitcoin, you go ahead and give me those kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
have
like
no debt, so
it's all about
I'd
like
be able to take the Bitcoin and I'd just let that.
yeah.
let
See,
it
for
go.
him it'd be an investment right
Yeah.
now. For me, it'd be a debt payoff. Like today, like
extra cash in your
would
You
be.
pocket.
could use the cash.
Yeah, I'd pay it off now. So it's all about that one is all my situation.
I think
So.
Sally Mae would want to be paid in Bitcoin.
Good old
I don't know.
Sally Mae. She's got to be the richest person in all of the world.
Luckily,
I don't
Sally
think
has
Sally
none
is
of
a
my
person.
stuff, so.
So yeah, I don't know. But anyway, so moving on from BAKKT, because everybody, well, kind of not moving on. As you all know, the market's flopped today and yesterday. Basically, Bitcoin was hovering around, I think it was the 9,700, 9,800, and then it went down to about 95, 96 yesterday, and then today it went as low as what I saw on TradingView was around $8,100. So that is a 15%.
It's at 86 right now.
It's at, okay, yeah, that's a huge drop for Bitcoin. Usually it's like 3 to 5%, but we're talking 15%. Do you all think it's going to dump more? Because there's a lot of people aiming for the 7,500 gap. There's a huge buy wall on exchanges. Do you know what buy walls are?
Nope.
So basically, there's limit orders on exchanges. Limit orders are basically, hey, when Bitcoin hits this price, I want my USD money that I have to be there to purchase Bitcoin when it hits that price. And so a buy wall is there's a lot of people waiting at 7,500 to be purchasing Bitcoin at 7,500.
I'm more like one of those 5,000 kind of guys. Like I want to see it drop to like 5. So then I'll
There'll be a
purchase.
lot of people that hate you.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
When I'm making money, I don't really care what anybody thinks about me. So
Hey,
just throwing that
I'm
out
sure
there.
a lot of people that are watching this or watching the live stream could,
They probably
attest to
feel,
that.
yeah, they feel like
as long as they're making money.
because we know that we'll drop to 5, and they're like, okay, as soon as it drops 5, purchase it up, then
Yeah,
right back up. So anyway,
for sure. Well, we'll move on. So, have you heard what the SEC is doing right now with Kick, the messenger app? Nick
Yeah.
read the article, but
I read
Tyler
the article
must have-
and I had to Google like everything because I didn't know anything.
Yeah, so basically a long time ago, the SEC basically released a press announcement saying, if you have hosted an ICO without clearing the SEC's approval, you are subject to like the jurisdiction of the SEC.
okay.
And I'm gonna say, and I'm just making this number up, but hopefully it'll be close. But it's like out of the 2,000 to 3,000 coins in crypto right now, I would say 60 to 80% of them had an ICO at one point or another. So
Now, what is an ICO for
It's-
those of us
for
that
who don't know, ICO is an initial coin offering. So basically, let's say a coin will come out and they'll say, we have this great project, but we don't really have the funds to keep this thing going or to market it. So what they do is they create this project and they create a certain amount of coins, and then they will host rounds with different offers on the coins. So the first round, if you're a first adopter, they'll sell each coin, let's say, for 5 cents. And then the next round, they'll sell it for 10 cents. And then the third round, they'll sell it for 15 cents. So they're incentivizing people to buy in early and to buy bulk. And so that's an ICO. So all that money would then go to that company. And this was like one of the quickest funding, ways to fund a company. Like there's ICOs that were opening and within 45 seconds had raised like $285 million and sold out completely. There's others that grew like 500 million and
So it's kind of like for regular stocks an initial offering.
yes.
So basically, when they can, when during the underwriting process of investing, it's the first time it's made available for purchase.
Yes.
From a company. So
Yes.
like when Facebook went live into the stock market, it was their initial offering.
Yeah.
It was like, all right, everybody, they're going to post their initial offering at this cap, and everybody's like, holy crap, it's going to be that much to begin with. But anyway,
Yeah, it's the same concept.
yeah.
And
But
so
okay.
so with these ICOs, and this it's kind of related but not specifically to this article, but a big problem with the ICOs where they would dump tremendously after they were publicly released. So you'd be able to get into these rounds, but they weren't publicly traded. It was just basically an IOU. So this is where the $20,000 Bitcoin came into play, because a lot of people were buying Ethereum, and Ethereum to get into these ICOs, you had to buy Ethereum. And then because all these ICOs were being built on the Ethereum like ecosystem, like the software. Does that make sense? So there was a big wave of scams that basically ICOs. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. Long story short, SEC basically said if you have made an ICO past this certain time period they forgave some, but if you're past anything, you're subject to regulation by us. And they decided to go after Kik, which created Kin. Kik is, if you all don't know, is the huge messaging app. I think they were created several years ago, but they have several million users. They were highly successful.
I think it said 300 million in the article. 300
million?
Yeah.
So basically what's going on is they said that Kik ran this ICO and it was supposed to be a registered security. And if you don't know what a security is, if you buy security, you're basically guaranteeing that there's going to be some sort of profit within the future. So you're saying, I'm going to sell you this security because it's supposed to be worth more in the future. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well, Kik and nobody else ever registered with the SEC. So basically all these coins and companies never registered, and they offered their token offerings to United States citizens. So if you try to get into an ICO now, a lot of them geo-block any IP addresses coming from the United States. So basically Kik said, you all had no regulation, and they tried to exploit some wording in some documentation saying that a loophole. They said we fell under this, and the SEC was like, no, you don't. So basically Kik said, no, we're not going to do this. We're going to fight you in court. And so because this was going to set the precedent for crypto, because there has been no regulations by the SEC necessarily on crypto and like initial offerings and all this. So Kik decided to basically fight the SEC. So it's turning out that Kik is having to close down their business because of the legal fees that they're having to keep Kin going in these lawsuits. Nick, is that basically,
yes.
Am I getting that right? Do you have anything to add from this article that I might be forgetting?
That's pretty much about it.
And so basically, and this I don't think is in the article, but basically the Kik CEO was catching a lot of flack, and supposedly he was drunk, but on Twitter he went on a rampage saying that he wasn't going to go to jail for this, and he was thinking about stepping down as the CEO of Kik. So I don't know, it's getting intense. So basically, if this goes through and they find Kin or Kik guilty of offering a unregistered security, that means every other coin that has ever had an ICO that doesn't fall within before that date is subject to the SEC's ruling. So you are now talking 60 to 80% of the entire market being basically the SEC saying you got to shut your doors or you got to pay this huge fine that you're probably not going to be able to pay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that's the huge dilemma.
Seems like the point of that rule is to prevent Ponzi schemes and
BitConnect.
Yeah, exactly. So not saying that they're in the wrong or anything like that, because they did, I guess, set the rules, but it's pretty clear that Kik's not a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
Like this, their product's being used by 300 million people.
Well, they want Kin to actually be one of the most widely used cryptocurrencies along with Bitcoin. They want it to be sent through messaging apps. Like they even released their own app that you can earn Kin by just taking surveys and just doing loads of other stuff. And you can get like $15 to $50 Amazon gift cards because you can convert your Kin. But anyway, so that's what's going on with Kik. Seems like they're going under. But we'll move on. We'll move on to the coffee business now, and these two are coffee connoisseurs in front of me that eventually want to create their own coffee van, coffee shop. But anyway, Nick or Tyler, do you want to lead this one?
I'm always for Nick leading and me just picking up the slack.
Because I read this ahead of time, and he didn't.
That was a shot.
I
have 2 full-time jobs.
3 with
he has his priorities out of order. Anyways, yeah, so the article is on theblockcrypto.com. The headline reads, a startup has onboarded 12,000 Honduran coffee bean farmers to track organic fair trade certificates with blockchain. So basically they're using the blockchain to kind of store information that'll make it easier to get their fair trade and organic certifications. For those that don't know, fair trade just means that the coffee is made without slave labor. So apparently it's really hard to get the fair trade and organic certifications. So this will make it easier, more streamlined process, a lot cheaper. Another thing too is they said that in a lot of fair trade coffees, like you're not really sure, it's always marked up, but you're not really sure who that extra money's going to, whether the company pockets the cash or if it actually does go to the farmers. So they're saying this way, farmers will get more of the money, and so.
And again, we talked about this last episode that's still not uploaded, but it seems like the supply chain is going to fit real, like this blockchain supply chain is going to fit real nicely into this world's ecosystem. Because it seems like we are going more towards a like organic, and like we want to know where things are coming from. You know, we want to know where food is. You know, organic is getting so much more expensive. What was I saying earlier? What kind of it was $15.5 trillion. That's what the supply logistics system is worth right now. And so there's companies like V-Chain, and that's the only one that's coming to my head right now. But
all those companies, like
there's one we'll talk about in a minute called Kuras.
And we aren't sponsored by them. They were just in the article. But I think that, you know, this is going to be huge for those kind of projects, especially if they're able to use the coin in a certain way to track, you know, that way you can track where your
payments,
track your payments, track where your jacket's coming from, track where your squash. But I think, like we talked about, medicine, I think is going to be a huge, it's just going to be a huge market for this type of deal.
So I thought this was cool. And the coffee we're drinking tonight is Laughing Man Coffee. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of it, but it's started by Hugh Jackman, who's a huge fan of the show.
Interesting.
Just kidding.
He's going to be on next week.
So. Tune in.
Just kidding.
But Laughing Man, all the proceeds go back into the communities where the coffees come from. So they're building up infrastructure, homes and schools and stuff for the coffee farmers. So that's pretty neat. So
I was just kind of blown away reading this article. 12,000 Honduran coffee bean farmers. How many coffee bean farmers are there in Honduras?
Well,
I don't know.
Coffee's the...
How about we send you down there to go count every single one?
As long as you're paying for it, I'm down.
I'm not paying
I'm just
for
blown away by that number. That's insane.
Coffee's the second most traded natural resource in the world behind oil.
Oh my gosh. So,
hallelujah.
So I used to, when I was in college, I did my internship in Honduras, so they have good coffee.
So this is pretty awesome. I just like that the coffee thing where we're, you know, giving back into the community where farmers are doing it. But two, I do enjoy this because so often I feel like when I go to a store and I see organic slapped on the label, I'm like, is it really? Yeah.
Well, it's like those chicken farms. It's like free range, and it's like, how free range is it? And you go in one of these warehouses and they have like a little 3x3 cubicle. You know?
Yeah. Which we all have a friend that does like open free range, like where they literally have big old places to go and run around. And you know, it's crazy to think that they're calling it free range, like you're saying, in these little bitty cubicle things.
It's like, you know, they're cutting corners every which way that they can.
And we have a friend that does it, and he's got these big open areas that just
you see these little guys doing it. It's like, how are these bigger guys doing it, but in this small of a location? Like, there's something up with it.
But anyway, I really like that it's help in the future for us to find out ways to be able to know if something's actually organic or not.
Spend our money responsibly.
How cool would it be that if someday you could come up literally like at let's say you go to Kroger, Meijer, Walmart, wherever you're at, and they have like a little electronic pad or something on the front, and you just click the button and it can show you where all this like specific cart came from. So if we were just sitting there, it shows every little logistic, which we've talked about in the past, but where we could go and look at it. Or even pull open our phone.
Especially with recalls. That'd be great with recalls. That would save so much money.
To make it even cooler, how cool would it be if we could just pull out our phone, click on like the label, the barcode on whatever fruit or whatever we're looking at, and it show us it was in this place, and this place.
We'll sell that idea to you, V-Chain, for about $15,000. You can just
don't listen to him. I'm going to sell much higher. So
anyway, how weird would it be if like so much like coffee snobs go up and like, oh, this coffee's from La Esperanza in Honduras. Well, they didn't have enough rainfall this year, so this is an inferior product.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, La Supa down the street.
Yeah.
But anyway, Nick, you're going to know more about this than I do. But the chorus, do you want to tell us just a brief explanation of what they're trying to do?
Sure. Pretty much.
Sorry, I put you on the spot right there.
Let me find my notes real quick.
Got to stay on your toes.
I know.
Talk Shop Crypto.
Yeah. So it's like you said, the supply chain and logistics industry is just vastly increasing. So Chorus is trying to enter into that space and kind of take advantage of this opening that's happening. So they're coming up with this system where it rewards people in their coin. I don't remember what it's called off the top of my head.
Chorus?
Yeah, probably.
The ticker symbol is
XQG.
XQG. But it seems like they're executing some sort of smart contract to deliver gas. I don't know if you know what gas is, but like Neo. So Neo and Ethereum need gas in order to run the network. So when you actually send an Ethereum contract, you can you put gas in the transaction. So you can put a small amount in, and the transaction will take a slower amount of time. Or if you put a larger amount of gas, then it goes quicker. So it will put your transaction to the front of the line. So it's like a Six Flags speedy card, whatever, if you want to think of it that way. But it costs money. So this gas, basically what they're doing is if you hold like Neo and you hold this, they're going to give you gas for free, like a staking option. Every 18 seconds it says that it generates something, a token in their wallet.
Oh, okay.
So it kind of pays for itself, but a lot of people, they just sell the gas and they keep the the initial investment in. So anyway. So over the past 4 episodes, we've been talking a lot about news, but I kind of wanted to dive into something along the lines of some coins that we have talked about. I gave you all some homework assignments just to talk about what we've invested in, where we see coins going. So have you all found any coins that you thought were interesting that you looked up on like CoinMarketCap or anything that you researched?
You want to go first? Because I have a couple, but mine are the basic ones that a lot of people already like.
Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin?
No, actually no. You already know I'm an XRP fanboy, so I for some reason love it.
Yeah, we're just going to mute your mic here for a little bit.
So, am I right?
So, yeah, XRP is one I kind of have been following. The reason I think I like it because it's built for the enterprise use, and be fast, cost efficient, and that cross-border parts, in which you can read that on Coinbase. It's all that basic. Yeah. But working in businesses and knowing how big, how huge it would be to be able to use something like XRP and something that's focused in that area, I really think XRP could grow, and that's why I kind of continue to buy it over and over.
So XRP was, they got hit kind of hard today. They were down 11%. But there's some others that
are Tyler bought way more today.
But so here's my question. There's a lot of people downing XRP right now. So basically they're saying because the Ripple company has a bunch in escrow and they have it unlocked every month to pay for their bills and their employees and all that. So it's basically stagnating the price because the market is getting flooded with XRP. With that kind of business model, do you still think that it will be worthwhile investing in and seeing that go up in the future?
Say that one more time.
So
I'm trying to follow you.
Yeah, no, you're fine. So Ripple basically has an escrow account that has a ton of XRP.
Yeah, and then it releases.
And it releases every month. So one of the big things that the XRP community is upset about is that they release so much of this XRP into the market, which when they sell it, if there's buy orders that are trying to make XRP go up, this huge buy order comes in and takes that out and basically lowers the price or stagnates it.
Yes.
So what do you think that would be a problem with scaling and like adoption, or do you think over time as the crypto market grows, because we're still only at, let's see, we're still only at 226 billion in market cap, and Ripple itself is only at a 10 billion market cap. So do you think it'd be worthwhile?
Possibly. Like, seriously.
Yeah. Because that's a big concern.
My wonder is, okay, if it's in that escrow account, is it can just, because it can't continue really to grow at this point, can't? In that account, which I know an escrow account for me, I'm thinking bank-wise, like, is that account growing and is it making more? Because is it going to eventually run out with XRP, or is it just going to keep?
Well, the business model that they have, I don't think they're going to run out anytime soon. Because, like, let's say they have 10 billion, they're only allowed to get their hands on, like, 500 million. I'm just making up something. But they only use, like, 50 to 60 million of that, and then they inject the rest back into the escrow.
Okay.
So whatever they don't use, it goes back into the escrow account.
Yeah, see, when you keep floating the market like that, anything, it's definitely hard to ever find a plus.
Yeah.
The only thing I can ever think is eventually people are going to get tired of going into Bitcoin and other things, and they're going to find something that they think could be profitable.
Well, it's so much faster, too.
That, and you have a problem, like, so many people are scared to go into Bitcoin, not only because they see that price tag on it. Like, I will tell you this, the way I think about investing, when I look at whether it's a Robinhood or outside of Coinbase, like the normal stock market and other things, when I look into that market, I'm like, what seems obtainable to me? And I don't know if that makes sense about, it's almost like...
So you're setting goals.
I almost want to create like a law in my mind where it's the law of unobtainability. So if I see something like Bitcoin, where we're looking at it right now, it's on Coinbase, it says 8,735.19. That looks very unobtainable to me. Like, I'm like, I work 2 jobs. I do this, I do that. Like, I'm paying bills. Like, how in the world am I ever going to invest enough money to get one Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Whereas I look at XRP and it's sitting at 23. It sits at 24, 25. Like, when it goes up 28, it's not insane by any means, and it doesn't look like it's done that much of a growth. I'm using this for all of the Bitcoin here. I mean, all of the crypto outside of Bitcoin. When I look at something that does look obtainable, I'm like, I might purchase that because one can at least have one share.
Yeah.
And 2, there's a profit for growth where if I put in $20 at XRP, at least when I grow, I'm actually gaining something. If I put in $20 of Bitcoin and it grows 5%, nothing. Like, I've earned.
Well, I think you bring up a good point with that too, because a lot of what's being tossed around is the previous all-time highs, and we've talked about it. Some are down 90%, some are down 99%, some may never come back up. But with Bitcoin, like, if you put $10 in now and it goes back to its previous all-time high, let's say Bitcoin was still $10,000.
Yeah.
Because 8,700 isn't that far off. You only made $20. You made $10 more than what you had if it goes.
So I only made $10.
Yeah, you only made $10, so now you have $20. But if you put yours into Ripple, and it would topped out at $3.60, the last all-time high, which I think we can all fairly agree that it's probably going to reach that again.
Yeah.
You're talking 4, 8, 12. Now you have $120, $130, $140.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see the incentive. Investing in something.
And me constantly, when I look at anything to do with investing, whether it be Robinhood or Coinbase, that's always my thought.
Yeah.
Is it obtainable? And Bitcoin's don't get me wrong, Bitcoin has made some people a lot of money. And can it reach the high that everybody thinks at 250,000? Is it 225 or 250?
250,000 by 2023.
If that happens, great. That means it's grown 25 times its worth. That's like right now.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Awesome. If you had, bought it when it's 1,000, good for you. You made a lot of money.
Yeah.
But even me right now, like investing $100, 25. That's only $2,500.
Yeah.
Right. If I could invest, $100 somewhere else, could make that through 10 different. Cryptos. Anyway,
it's definitely the risk versus reward. Bitcoin's a little bit lower risk with a steadier return, but XRP, it's a give and take.
If I'm really going to invest or try to play the market, I'm going to go for something that's obtainable.
Sure.
Anyway, that's just one of mine. Nick, would you like to throw one out there?
Sure. I used to be Bitcoin maximalist, and now I'm open to it. The only other currency
he changed after we stoned him. Just kidding.
No, it's true. Okay, what is it?
But the only other coin I'm invested in is EOS.
EOS.
Because Coinbase had a thing where you could earn free EOS. So, but yeah, so that, but not to say that it's not valuable. So it's pretty interesting. Their consensus method is different from pretty much any other coin that I've seen. It's instead of proof of work or proof of stake, you people who hold the coin vote for the block producers.
Yeah.
So that way, you can get voted out. So that way, that adds to security. So, yeah.
Nice.
Pretty much for those that don't know much about it.
Well, I would say one. Now that you all asked me, but
Hey Kyle, would you mind telling us what's your fave?
No, I don't necessarily have a favorite right now. As the market stands, I still have 90. I'd probably say 90 to 95% of my portfolio in Bitcoin. That's just me. That's the way I'm playing the market right now. But I have two love affairs other than Bitcoin, and that is IOTA and Chainlink. Reason I like Chainlink is because it is a official partner with Google, and they've officially incorporated Chainlink into their cloud services. So if they're in with a big company like that, what's to say that them incorporating Chainlink into other aspects of Google supply chains? If Google ever decides to try to be something like Amazon, where they do house products, and which they kind of do build stuff. I know they're not along those lines, but I don't know. That's just something that I kind of think of. So I think when I buy Chainlink, I feel like I'm kind of buying a stock of Google. So the market cap of Chainlink, and this is one of the things I like, is it's only at $617 million. So that's still a fairly low market cap with room to grow. And the volume right now is 217 million, which makes me think there's a lot of liquidity going on. It's easily accessible, because there's a lot of problems where these people buy lower coins, but it only has $15,000 in volume. And you go to an exchange and there's only $400 in liquidity on the exchange, so it's not very feasible to do that. And then IOTA, I like it's because they call it an Internet of Things token, and basically they use the blockchain to run the Internet of Things where systems and operating systems talk with each other. But they've partnered with like Volkswagen, they partner with another car company. And so I kind of have a love affair with IOTA too. I don't own any of these, but I don't know. I'm digging it. IOTA was originally $1, so it's 25 cents right now. So if you invest in it, you could potentially 4x, 4x your money. But so yeah, are there any other coins that you all are looking that you think that could possibly do well in the next bull run or go along with Bitcoin?
Well, I know what Kyle said didn't mean one iota to me.
That's it. You're done. You're cut off.
Help it.
You're cut off.
At least my pun was funny.
At least mine involved a foreign language, so or a dead language at that. So yeah,
people still speak Greek. I think they speak in Greece.
Greece. Continue.
They speak English with a Greek accent. That's
Yes.
what they do in movies.
Yeah.
So Nick, what we're
Do
going
you have
for?
any more?
I have no more.
Tyler, do you have any more?
I have one pulled up, and it's another common one. But let me see.
What is it?
Let me get there. I've got all of them.
I'll tell you something while you're pulling that up. A lot of people diss it or disregard it because it's in a lot of people's portfolios and they talk about it being in their top coin. I really think Ethereum, it's the second coin in the market cap right now. It's $18 billion with 11 billion in volume. Ethereum has a rough history behind it because Vitalik Buterin is the founder and CEO of Ethereum, and he founded it and made it it's his brainchild. But the problem with Ethereum is every time they promise to make a milestone to the code, software, say something's going on with it, they almost miss it by 6 months to 2 years. Every single time. And with the business, plan like that, that's not really feasible. Like, Ethereum's supposed to initiate this thing called Casper, and where you start staking it. I think you're supposed to get like 6 to 8%. It could be off there, but you're supposed to get some staking reward with it. But Casper was supposed to come out like 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, and every year they're like, it's going to come out at this time or this time, but it never does. And plus, Ethereum's price point is also struggling too. So I realized that it was above $200, and now it's at 171, and that was just in the past 2 days. So I don't know. That's something to keep your eye on. I know that's a safe coin to be in, but I think it has a lot of potential. But Tyler, have you been able to pull up the coin?
Yeah, it's one we were talking about, EOS. Also a fan of that for large scale. Is it EOS?
EOS.
Did we just decide?
No, you're fine.
And I'm pretty sure it also had pretty big losses over the past couple of days.
And that's not just because of the dip, but there's a little bit more to it if you want to know. But
yeah, large scale applications doesn't cost anything to trade across.
No transaction fees.
Which is that's the reason.
That's a big thing
for someone like me. I'm like, hey, that's awesome.
Well, that's adoption too. If you say somebody that there's a transaction fee with just sending money, I can give you $5 right now for free.
Huh.
So I feel like that's a really big milestone. So if you can make the transaction fee so small enough to where it wouldn't even affect pretty much the balance, I think that's when crypto will start being widely adopted. That's where we talk about buying a cup of coffee comes in with Bitcoin. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, and I keep seeing more and more. Like I was searching a few things where they're continuing to update. It's called their fork. I don't know if you've seen that, where they're able to update and upgrade like how it's tracked and everything, and
just reward people who make improvements onto their
so
system.
I really like that's another thing I really like, because it incentivizes people to continually having that free market again. I know we talk about this like every episode somehow. I think because we have a decentralized currency that we want to talk about, and how does a currency become centralized? Oh, it becomes regulated. So then it's regulated, then it goes down, and then everybo's like, I've lost interest. So my big thing for this is how it incentivizes people with EOS, and constantly, whether it be upgrades, the transfers.
Yeah.
They're they I can't remember what it says in their thing. It gives them periodically new EOS to be able to perform these transactions. So just that incentivization and having that no cost to me, like I'd want to use that. So.
And something that I like that EOS has, but this is one of the crutches that I'm going to bring up. This is what I was kind of alluding to a couple seconds ago. They have a voting system. So basically the amount of EOS that you have is the amount of power that you have to vote on what new things can be developed on the EOS platform or be released. So a lot of people have to come to a consensus to basically say, hey, we want to make this improvement with EOS community. What do you think about this? And then the community votes on it, yay or nay.
Interesting.
But here's the problem. As you probably thought about in this statement, they're letting the community and basically the people with the more EOS has more voting power. You get groups that have a ton of EOS and have a lot of power, so they're kind of swaying basically EOS in the voting and what's allowed and what's not allowed. But something interesting that I think EOS has going for it that a lot of people forget about, yes, it was an ICO. I don't know how that's going to play out with the SEC if they ever decide to come after them, but do you know how much they raised in their ICO? It's the most raised funded ICO in all of crypto.
19 billion.
Okay, well that's a little bit too much.
I don't know.
No, it was a good guess. 4 billion.
Oh, okay. I don't feel very bad about that guess.
It was one of the
only 15 billion off.
I like to look at it as almost 80%. But
it was one of the longest ICOs ever in history. So basically an ICO would typically last a month to 3 months. They had an ICO for an entire year. They basically said, hey, you can buy EOS whenever you want in this year, and then you register your EOS on this website. And then so on this day, we're going to take a snapshot of the blockchain and basically reward you with, they would flip the EOS. So, yeah. So they have that, and I think the guy who runs it is Dan Larimer. He is a very smart guy. He's a genius. He's known for hopping from project to project, like he makes projects and then kind of ditches them and makes it. Well, he stuck around for the EOS one, so I'm interested to see how this one will play out. They want to be their own ecosystem. They even came out with their own social media, or they're trying to come out with their own social media platform. It did not go over well with a lot of people because they want KYC, so verification. It's in the United States, you legally have to basically know who's purchasing and who's interacting with your blockchain just to be compliant. But anyway, so yeah, I think we've gone on for a pretty good amount of time. If you all have anything else to add, any thoughts, comments, questions?
Just gonna sip your tea now and go about your day.
Fair trade organic coffee.
That's right. Well, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like you said, any comments? Be looking for our videos. We're gonna try to shorten some up and do some random things in the future.
Yeah. Chainwise, we're gonna go to Chainwise. Look them up. I think tickets right now. We are not affiliated whatsoever. We're trying to get a booth. I emailed the people about a booth, so we will try to be there. I don't know if this table will be here, but we actually want to interview people at Chainwise. So there's going to be a lot of developers, influencers there, and I would love to pick their brains. It'll be awesome for you all to get to know a little bit more about the space, learn a little bit more. But yeah, that's an opportunity. We'll be up in somewhere in like Cleveland, Ohio, or something for some. Well, I will at least. I don't know if you all will be able to make it with your schedule, but there'll be a lot of YouTubers there too.
Check out our gear store. We got some gear.
Yeah, we got some gear. Yeah, that I'm wearing one and Nick's wearing a t-shirt, but check that out.
I look like it's Christmas.
We have an Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. So, but yeah, we appreciate you all watching, and we hope that we can pay it forward, or pay it to you all in the future. Reward you all somehow. But yeah, so I think that'll complete our episode.
Yeah.
So we appreciate y'all. We love that you're here with us. Like, comment if you have any questions or anything to add to the video. And we are a new channel, so if you have any recommendations, please let us know.